Hello, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our first Facebook Live training on omugo.com.ng. It's a minute past 1, and we try to keep the time. I know we advertised on various medias that we'll be having the program by 1 o'clock. So I decided that 1 o'clock should be 1 o'clock, not African Man time. So you're all welcome to today's broadcast. But basically, it's more or less like it's a training session actually, because I believe that at the end of today we would learn a thing or two from this session. Our topic for today is child structure, the importance of routinely planned activities in the face of a global lockdown. Before I proceed with today's lecture, I'd like to say hello to everyone. How are you doing? I know that for some of us it's not been very easy due to the pandemic global lockdown, but I believe that as humans we are wired to adapt to whatever situations we find ourselves. So I hope you're safe. I hope you're doing good. I hope you're all right. And I believe that we are all taking precautionary measures as reeled out to us by our professionals. So we'll go straight into our topic for today. Like I said, the importance of routinely planned activities for children in the face of a global lockdown. As a result of the global lockdown, a lot of us, if not everybody, now have to compulsorily stay at home with our children, husband, wife, children, all day you are home with your words. And we know that children are very energetic. They have so much energy. In fact, they would easily wear you out. When you're getting tired, that's when they're actually beginning or starting to play their play. And when it comes to children, it's always good to have a structure for them to follow, planned activities that you can actually use to engage them. Normally by this time, children are already back to school, second term, doing their schoolwork. But as a result of the global pandemic, like I said, we've all been compulsorily made to stay at home with our children. And most parents don't actually know how to properly engage their children. We are clueless when it comes to activities that can actually engage our children properly. The issue here is not just engaging your child, because of course you can put your child in front of a television or give a child a gadget and the child is engaged, but what we're emphasizing here is properly and meaningfully, and probably I'll add purposefully, engaging your child in activities that would not just be fun, but would also build the child's cognitive ability as well as physical strength. So you're looking at activities that will help the child's strength as well as the child's mind. Would look at activities, we actually look at activities that we can engage in that will be able to meet these two things I've talked about, the body and the mind of the child. But before we go into that, you could ask a question: why do I even need to think about activities that would engage my child's body and mind, or that will be purposefully engaging for my child? Number one, you're not just creating this or giving the child activity because you want the child to get out of your way. No. But at the end of the day, or at the end of this lockdown, you want to be able to, I think every parent will be happy to say that my child learned a thing or two as a result of being with me at home for this particular period of time. So we're looking at activities that will foster bonding between parents and their children, mother and child, father and child. So it's not just to give the child a laptop or a gadget or your phone to just watch cartoon or the rest. No. Activities that will actually help you and your child to bond. And there are a lot of them. For example, you could do role play, which I do a lot with my son. you do role play with them, and then you interact. And when you do all that, you'll be surprised. The children start asking you questions, and then you start answering them. And from doing that, you can also be able to observe some probably certain habits or behaviors that are really not so good. From there, you can actually correct your child. So this is the right way to do it. You teach the child how to say please, thank you, and all of that from such activities. Also, you'd also look at activities that would, apart from bonding, you look at activities that would help the child to concentrate and learn to focus. The activities you can actually engage a child in that will help the child to focus more, concentrate more. For example, building blocks. You give your child the building block, the child begins to try it, and then it also fosters creativity. The child begins to build. The child does the first one, it doesn't work out, do the second one. It teaches the child patience and then creativity, and then also concentration and focus, because the child has to really concentrate to be able to get it right. So those are the kind of activities that we should engage our children in this season. Also, activities that will foster better social skills. Like I said earlier, you can actually keep your child in front of a TV, but no skill. The child isn't learning anything from it. But if you have activities that would enable the child talk more, interact more, the child will actually learn social skills, which is very key in our world today. In school, it will help the child learn faster, be able to associate with people more. Beyond school, even when the child becomes an adult, social skills are very, very key in any sector, or any organization, as the case may be. Then we also look at activities that will help the child build a healthy body. Activities like running, jumping, that way your child is building a better immune system, better reflexes, the muscles are getting stronger. So those are the kind of activities your child should actually engage in. Then activities that will spur creativity and imagination. For example, reading your child a book. Sometimes when I read my children or my son, most times a book, I try to act it out. So the child begins to imagine what it would be like. So you foster creativity and imagination of the child. So these are, and also activities that also help the child learn basic values and ideals of life. As you probably learn, for example, maybe you're folding something in the room, and then your child is like, mommy, I want to join you. Okay, this is the way to do it. You've actually taught him how to do something new, how to fold, how to properly arrange. You're teaching the child basic things, basic skills the child needs in life. So these are the kinds of activities as parents we should try to engage our children in. Before we go into looking at structure properly, we will also look at some activities you can also engage your child in that would have one, two, or all of these benefits, or these meaningful benefits I just mentioned earlier. So we have activities like painting. You can, for smaller children, for children of maybe toddlers, you can give them crayon and a picture to paint. Then you tell them, oh, don't color outside the line, color within the line. The child is learning something. For older children, you can give them a paint and brush and say, okay, paint something. You understand? So this is one of the activities you can actually engage your child in this period of global lockdown. You can also read to your child. Children love it when their parents read to them. They love stories. For my son, it's usually like, Mama, tell me a story. I remember when we were younger, when they want to tell us a story, they usually go like, story, once upon a time. I do all that. And you see his face get lit up and he enjoys it. I tell him stories. Sometimes I read it out. Sometimes I imagine and create some stories and I tell him those stories. So that way your child begins to imagine things. It also fosters creativity in the child. So it's good to read things to your children. You can also create your own game. Probably maybe nobody knew would be in this lockdown, so you don't have anything in the house. You can create your own game. And you can carry your empty bottle and a stick, and then you start playing drums with your children and you're singing. You've created your own game. You can create your own game. You can also try baking or try a new recipe with your child. If it's a smaller child, just allow the child do whatever the child wants to do, but while the child is doing something. But for bigger children, you allow them to actually fully participate. If you have a new recipe, you allow the child read out the ingredients to you, the next step, what to do. The child is happy, is learning something new, and the both of you are also bonding at the same time. So trying out a new recipe or baking something is something you can actually try out in this period, as long as you have the ingredients at home to do it. You can also do paper craft. I remember as a younger child, we used to make boats, airplane, and then fan. You can also try paper craft with your children. It helps stimulate their minds. They begin to learn how to do creative things. So you can do that too with your children in this period. You can also, if you have space in your house, for those of us that have gardens or space, you can plant something. You can plant something with your child. And by doing so, and every day you're like, we need to go and water our plants. The day the plant actually sprouts out and then the child sees that what he planted in the ground has come out, to make the child very happy and excited. And the child will feel like, oh, I've been able to create something. So this is also something you can do with your children in this period. You can plan a picnic. You don't necessarily have to go to the beach to have a picnic. As long as you have space, probably your backyard or your front porch, all you need, as long as you have a basket and you have some few goodies in the house, maybe apple, sandwich, put inside your basket, you have a mat or a blanket, you take it out, spread it out, voila, you have your picnic with your child, and it will also give you room to bond with each other. I see a lot of people joining in. I see Chinonye, Weke, Ekonife. Sorry if I'm bastardizing your name. Hello. I see Osam Cynthia. Hello. I see Ugo. Hello. I see Rashidat. Hello. Thanks for joining in. You can tell your friends that we are live, and they can also join in. And hello to everyone that is joining. I see a lot of people joining in. I see Choma Hyako. Hello. So another activity, we'll go back to our topic. Another activity you can actually engage your child in this season is you can do play act. I do that a lot, like I said earlier. I know some of us moms, we know the cartoon called Rainbow Ruby. Sometimes I'm Rainbow Ruby, and then my son is Gina, and then my little girl of a year and 3 months, she's Princess Kiki. We play, and then you see him say, Rainbow Ruby, we start and we play, and family time, we're enjoying ourselves. You can actually do that with your children. Play act. That way your child, and sometimes I'm surprised at the things he says. You'll be surprised at the words your children know and how sharp and how fast their minds are. So it's good to do all of that with them. You can also, if you have building blocks at home, you can give them their building blocks to build something. Building blocks is one game I love so much because it helps the child to learn to focus, concentrate, and then it teaches the child patience, because sometimes you have to do it over and over and over and over again before you can actually get it right. Then if you have puzzle game too, you can actually engage your child with a puzzle game. The same thing the building block does, the puzzle game too does the same. Teaches the child patience, how to create something, and at the end of the day, when the child gets it, it does something to the child's psyche and the mind. The child is happy. Then you can also play card games. If your children are a little bigger, you can play card games with them. But if they are smaller, like you still have toddlers, you can actually use those cards to teach them different shapes. Yes, triangle, circle, square. You can actually use them to teach them something. I would also like to add that before you start planning activities for your children, if they have age, probably let me say maybe 3 years and above, you can actually get their input, because when they suggest to you and you do it, they tend to buy in more. They buy in more to the activity. They are more engaged in it because they know they were part of it, the planning and all of it. So now we go back to our topic, structure, child structure. Very key. This period where we are all at home is not the time for you to allow your children sleep from night till 11 o'clock. No. You're building a pattern, and children, once they start getting used to a pattern, it's hard for you to change it. Do you know why it's easier? Like you think it's easier when they are going to school? Well, because there's a pattern already. The child wakes up in the morning, brush his or her teeth, take his or her bath, eat, go to school. And when they get to school, that's what the schools actually use to tame our children's structure. When they get to school, the child knows that, okay, the first thing I do, I go to my classroom, I drop my bag, I come back for devotion. After that, probably they have circle time, show and tell, and then probably they do maths. After maths, they know it's lunchtime, break time. You can actually use that same pattern at home. It's not the time, like I said, to allow your children sleep for very long hours. No. It's not the time too for you to allow them stay up very late at night, because they stay up late at night, they are bound to wake up very late in the morning. So of course they are not going to school this period, so you can give them a little leverage to stay beyond the normal time, but you shouldn't exceed a certain limit. So they wake up in the morning. The same thing in the house for parents. Don't say they are not going to school so you can eat before you brush your teeth. No, you're breaking the pattern. Allow the child to have his or her bath, brush their teeth, then you give them breakfast. Then with all the activities we've mentioned earlier, you can now say, okay, for this week, I will do A, B, C, D. And then your child too is also aware of the activities that him or her will be doing. For the to be honest with you, the first few days of first week, it may be like, what's my mom up to? But after a few days, the child gets used to it, and you'll be surprised. The child will even be the one asking you, Mama, what's the next activity after this? Everything should be properly planned and structured. You must have a plan in this season. If not, your children will weary you out. In as much as we love them, yes, they are gifts, a bundle of joy. We need to properly engage them this season. So at the end of this lockdown, you, as a parent, you'll be proud to say that my child has learnt this, and this during this season. It shouldn't just be a season of waking up in the morning, eating, sleeping, disturbing, going up and down. The truth is that if you don't engage your child, the child will engage him or herself. From experience, yes. My little girl, since just 1 year and 3 months, she will go and start pressing the dispenser and pour water everywhere. You know, my son will jump on the bed all day if you don't engage him in anything meaningful. But if you do, the child is happy, learning something, doing something. You too, the parent. At some point, there are some activities that the child will actually need to do alone. You can sneak out at that point, go refresh yourself, probably take that online course you've been wanting to take, or read that book, or rest, take a nap, knowing that your child is gainfully engaged, of course, with the supervision of your nanny or a professional caregiver around with the child. So structure is very key this season. We must plan activities for our children that will equip them, not just for this season, but beyond this season. You can actually apply this beyond this season, because these are things that the child will actually learn from. Like I said earlier, quick fix method won't add any value to your child's life. But you should think of activities that will enable you and your child to bond more, enable the child use his imagination and creativity, enable the child move to build stronger muscles, better reflexes, a better immune system. These are very key in this season and this period. And I must tell parents, moms and dads out there, you need to properly take care of yourself, because if you don't take care of yourself, you actually can't take care of your children. So it's a time to also take care of yourself as a parent, so you can engage in these activities with your children. This is a time where you can actually observe your child. Probably there are some habits you've noticed or patterns you've noticed you don't like. It's a time to correct it. The more you interact with the child, the more you start seeing those things you need to straighten out, and other things that you applaud the child for too. So it's a time to bond with our children, observe them, teach them new things, engage them in activities that will stimulate their minds and their bodies. I see more people coming in. I have Agbo Comfort. There's Menepo Giswano. Hello, thanks for joining in. If you're just joining us now, we've actually gone far with our topic, but I believe that the video will be up there for some time, even after today. So for parents, it's key. If you don't plan, whatever you don't plan for, you fail at it. That's just the truth. Even as adults, you must have a plan. And my focal point for today is not just engaging them in activities, but engaging them in activities that are meaningful and will help build the child. Very, very key. So whatever, probably, I believe that some parents out there have some games and activities that they themselves have come up with for their children. If you're such a parent, you can share your view with us. You can share your view with us, make a comment on the activities, fun activities you do with your children that actually helps build them. I actually don't want this session to be a very long one, because I believe that most times adults our attention span and is really short. But I believe that we have learned a thing or two from today's discussion. If you have any questions, probably on what we've talked about, you feel free to ask your questions. You can send us a Facebook message, or you can send us a message on Instagram. Be rest assured, we'll give you feedback. We'll answer all your questions. And I would also like to use the opportunity to let everyone out there know that we'll be having more of these kind of sessions, more trainings. And then we'll have our medical practitioners, our doctors, our nurses, psychologists come teach you about things that will be beneficial to you, your home, and your children. So for all those who tuned in today and who are viewing, I'd like to say a very big thank you to you. And also, before I go, I'd like to say that this period has made me to really, really appreciate my caregiver. You know, most times as parents, working class parents, or parents that are into business, you wake up in the morning, your child is going out, you're going out, and you're coming back in the evening. You actually don't have so much time to spend with your children. But when you stay with them 1 day, 2 days, 1 week, you know that your caregiver is actually doing a good job, because it's not really easy. They have a lot of energy. That's why we actually have this, we actually did this teaching today, for parents to know how to channel these energies to productive use. So I want to say thanks for joining in. Thanks for watching. We'll definitely pass out information on when next we'll be having another live training session like this. So keep your fingers crossed, and peradventure probably you have topics you like us to discuss about. Feel free to send us your topics on any of our social media handles, or you could also send us a mail. Yes. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you've learned a thing or two. Stay safe. Wash your hands always. Try to feed yourself with positive information, and also make the best use of this season. Bond with your children, your spouse, your loved ones. Just make the best use of this season. Stay safe. Do what our medical practitioners and the experts say we should do, and I believe by so doing we would be able to go through this period in safe and sound conditions. So till I see you next time, probably not my face, someone else's, but till I see you next time, stay safe. Bye.